Sometime back, there was a vendor at an event selling these Trump hats for 2024, caps, I guess you would call them, for 2024. And I said, you know what? Let's get a bunch. And the thing I liked about it the most was it said the rules have changed. And that is the most important thing for everyone to grasp. The rules have changed. This is not 2016. This is a different world. Nothing is the same. Nothing. No matter what you may think, America, this is different. This is crunch time. This is 0 hour. There has never been anything like this. And I don't care if America or certain factions of America don't like Trump. I don't care. This is not about liking. This has nothing to do with liking. It's not a fan club. It's not America's most talented. This is not a popularity contest. This is not about who's groovy and who's not. And it doesn't work like that. America, our country, is at a crossroads. And it is worse than anybody ever imagined. I don't care who you are. And we know it. The real motto, phrase, apothegm, aphorism, sobriquet that would apply would be Trump 2024. I told you so. I told you. I told you the rules have changed. Do you think, America, this is about Republicans and Democrats? Do you think what? Do you think this is about Trump? It's about the direction of the country. And people don't like when you say that. Have you noticed that? They get to think, oh, would you stop that? Oh, no, no. Oh, no, 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 no. This is for all the marbles. We have people who are our enemies we don't even know about. You know, there's this wonderful thing called gut health. Have you heard about that? Nobody wants to talk about it. But there's this fascinating subject matter of flora, gut flora, E. coli, lactobacillus, good bacteria, bad bacteria. You take an antibiotic and all of a sudden the bad bacteria takes over. Next thing you know, yeast infection, candidiasis, monillia, name it. There's this balance, but there's this group of bacteria that you gotta keep under control. And if you turn your back or something affects the balance, there's hell to pay. That's what we're talking about. Think of America right now as a potential yeast infection. If that works, fine. Whatever it is. This is not about Trump. This is not about MAGA. This is not about left and right. This is something I don't even want to say is good versus evil. This is about the onslaught of an existential threat to the basics of our country. And this affects, and here's the best part, Democrats, if you think you're going to be protected from this, you're out of your mind. How's everybody doing this fine morning? Couple things to pay attention to. Remember, we start off with a morning prayer. Let me start off with this benediction. There are right now 129 days until the election. 129 days until the election. And we've got to keep this bad bacteria down. We got to keep it down. And it's never going away. But it's got to be crushed. You've got to build a kind of like a Chernobyl slab to contain the radioactive. It's not going away. You're not going to get rid of it. The Democrats are perennial liars. They're actually coming forward. Listen to me. We don't buy this for a moment. They want you to think that for the first time they're saying, oh my God, Joe doesn't know what he's doing. Where the hell have you been? I didn't know. You knew. No, we didn't. And they bring these usual suspects, this dog and pony show, they bring these people out like Joy Reid and Van Jones, and they sit there almost weepy and say, he's such a good man. When did this happen? Where have you been? Do you know what the easiest job in the world is? Wonderful word, a sinecure. You know what a great sinecure is? Let me tell you. It's working for the RNC and saying, listen, would you do me a favor? Yeah. Would you put together all of Biden's gaffes in a reel? Can you do that? Sure. Just give me his last speech. Just run it. You don't have to edit, maybe edit some pauses. That's it. Versus, can you give me a reel of all of Trump's gaffes? You know, where Trump really said something really stupid. Stupid? Yeah. You know, where Trump zoned out. I don't think we have any of that. No. You know where Trump was walking around shaking hands with somebody who wasn't there? We don't have that. Can you check? I don't have to check. I would have remembered that. Do you have any time where Trump was, where he's in the G7 and he's walking around and he's talking to people who aren't there? No, I'm telling you, we don't have that. Remember one time when Trump was at maybe G7 or something and he barreled through and he just pushed his way through. Remember that great scene? He basically said, I'm here. And they all wanted to meet him. Anytime Joe Biden speaks, even afterwards, to show you how little they care about you, to show you how they hate you, after the event, after that drubbing, self-inflicted, after whatever that was, Little Bighorn or Waterloo or whatever, they took him out to a Waffle House or something because of Jill. Because Jill is the evil Cruella de Vil of this entire complex. Ladies, would you let your husband, or gentlemen, would you let your wife embarrass her like that? And to stand out there and look at the American public and lie. No, he's great. Joe, you were great. You were fantastic. And I know you might have had maybe not at your best, but you were terrific because you see, Joe, you handled the issues. What? You handled the issues. The issues? You did? Yes. You're lying, aren't you? Oh, yeah, absolutely. They look at you and they don't know. They think, I think they think you believe it. I really do. I swear to God. I think they think you believe what they're saying. And now all of a sudden, oh, his donors in the Hamptons, now they're concerned. Don't tell me you don't know this. Go back to RNC or Trump War Room. Go to X or Twitter. Go back and see how long. Do a kind of a research take on how long these reels have been floating around. Please do. Look at the reels of this and see how long they've had these culminations, these compilations of his absolute lunacy. This is for years. This is for this is for years. Now, what is Trump supposed to do next? Well, let me tell you what he's going to do next. And first, you want to know what the intel is? You want to know what the intel? Now, when I tell you this, remember when I tell you this, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. Today, the word is that already specifically, there are donors having met with Newsom, as we have been saying for years. He's been planning this forever. He has donors lined up, pushing for him as the replacement. Big time. Number two, wait until you see how many of these websites he's had locked up for the longest time. Gavin Newsom this, Gavin Newsom. It's hard to say. Wait until you see this. We've always heard that. He's had this lot. There is a movement. And I've got to tell you something. You would be amazed, truly amazed, how people don't report this. And they know this. This morning, I happened to, when I saw 5 seconds, 10 seconds, maybe, of Fox Weekend, whatever it is. This is the children's hour. This is like the children's table. You know, at Thanksgiving, remember that when you're at the kids' table? It's like, what is this? You had to sit with your cousin. It's like, why do I have to sit with my cousin for? Because you're a kid. I want to sit with the adults. No, you got to sit. I always want to sit with the adults. I don't recognize these people. I don't like my cousins. Why do I have to speak? Anyway, that's Saturday. You got Pete Hogsbreath or whoever these people, I don't even know their name. So they're sitting there. And it's like listening to children speak. I want to say something for a second on that subject. You know, I've told you I like a lot of the newer folks. I like a lot of the newer trending, stuff, the new streaming platforms like Breaking Points and others. And it's great to hear the new voice of younger news journalists and whatever you want to call these folks. Now, a lot of people have been talking about, when you get older, these older, you're older, Joe's older, he's older, he's older, he's older, he's older, he's older. Okay, yes, we know that. You know what happens when you get older? Yes, I do. Well, let me tell you what happens when you get younger. Let me tell you what happens when you get younger. And I want to say this to you in defense of this. Remember, life is a conveyor belt. It is a conveyor belt. And you may be young now, but if you play your cards right, then you'll be moving this way. And then you're young now. But later on, you're going to be at this stage. It's not like you're young and you stay young. I think you know this. But listening to Crystal Ball, she sounded sometimes like a giddy teenager. And what people don't understand is you can't buy wisdom. And you can't buy experience. And you can't buy perspective. And I love everybody right now and a lot of them are older. Certainly they know what they're talking about. Who are just, can't believe what's happening with Israel. Oh my God. I can't believe what they're doing. Where were you during Vietnam? What? Or people who say, this Saudi involvement in that particular day in September. I said, where have you been? It's like they just discovered something. It's like when all of a sudden somebody says, hey, I've just discovered jazz. Really? So let me tell you something. Yes, there's a wonderful thing about sometimes age is senescence, but with age also comes perspective. And most of us here, we've seen this. We've been through this. And what I am telling you right now, and the message of the rules have changed, is that 2016 was a millennium ago. This is a different time. This is completely different. Brian Hayes, ladies and gentlemen, says, you mentioned about Kimberly, which is strange. Is he really related to Nancy Pelosi too? There was a wonderful article, which I will try to dredge up, Brian. And thank you, sir. It's about the Pelosi, D'Alessandro, Newsom, and Brown cabal. Not that they're related per se, but they're part of the California mafia. D'Alessandro, who's Pelosi, the old man, her husband. By the way, that story. Anybody buy that story about Paul Pelosi, the drunk, DUI, and lo and behold, he happens to, the cops show up and he's in the house with some guy with a hammer. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Of course you are. Why? Because you're not an idiot. These people don't know what's this. Let me tell you something. Now, somebody mentioned about Kimberly Guilfoyle Newsom. And now she's Kimberly Guilfoyle. I think she dropped the Newsom. Was the toast of the town with Gavin. I mean, they were it. For whatever reason, okay, fine. She wants to be in there like you can't believe, which is great. You've got Lara, you've got Ivanka who says, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm in Miami. I just want to go out and rock my white shorts. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Lara, not Laura. Her name is Lara, but they call her Laura. I don't know why. It's like if you ever watched the Dick Van Dyke Show, they called Laura Petrie Laurie for reasons I don't know. They called her Laurie for a while. It's like Naomi is Naomi. I don't know where that comes from either. Missouri. Let's call the whole thing off. The intel has already been, she's been briefed, debriefed like you can't believe years ago. What she knows, what they have. Don't be surprised if somebody's got pictures, films, videos, stuff. Why? Remember what I told you. Remember what Uncle Lenny told you. The two biggest instances, the two biggest industries today are what, kids? What? Extortion and human trafficking. Extortion. You take a picture today, everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. Rumor has it, there is a certain congressperson trying desperately to buy up all her old pictures as we speak. And you don't buy them up. There's no such thing as that. You don't buy them up. It doesn't exist. This stuff is going around big time. Lori Lewis says, my friends are still voting for Biden. Lori, remember this. You have to deal with this. Lori, sit down, Lori. You've been a good friend, Lori, for a long time. And let me tell you this much. We don't have time to worry about this. Okay? We don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. Let them do it. They look at you, Lori, as you're demented that you want to vote for Trump. And they are so demented, they look at you and they say, well, okay, if I don't vote for Trump, you want me to vote for Biden? Well, do you like Biden? Well, I don't know. Why are you voting for Biden? I've got a friend of mine, a judge, known him my whole life. Brilliant. He said, I'm a Democrat. I know he's not, but I can't vote for this. Okay, fine. Friends, we don't concern ourselves with that. We don't concern ourselves. New topic. Go for the intel. What's going on? What are we learning? Remember, what you're seeing, if you watch CNN, if you watch MSDNC or Fox News, you're not getting anything. You're not getting anything. You're not learning anything about the news. What you do is you watch them the same way that when you go into the restaurant business, you look at menus. You look at your competition. You go, okay, they're going southern. Let's say it's Italian place. Okay, they're going, well, okay, obviously much more northern. Look at the sauce. They're in the bechamel. They're not a red sauce place. Check the appetizer. Okay, got it. That's what they're doing. You've never tried it. You don't know if it's any good. This tells you the direction they're going. That's all we want to know. What direction are you going? Now, let me stop right there. Let us bow our heads. And if you are religious, great. If you are not, fine. If you are spiritual, terrific. If you are an atheist, I don't care. I want you to put your heads together and join me right now in trying to summon the energy and the focus of the universe, the interstitial powers of prayer, focus, meditation, direction. Dear fill in the blank, please keep Joe Biden on the ticket. Can I get an amen? Please keep Joe Biden on the ticket. Can I get an amen? When we talk of Gavin Newsom, we don't want there to be a switcheroo. We don't want this. We don't want this. Let me hold my talisman up. This is my totem, this totemic reference. Got this at the White House gift. There we go. I got to show you my collection one of these days. We don't want Gavin Newsom. We want Joe Biden. Can I get an amen? We don't want him to be replaced. We want you to give him the strength. Give him a surge of confidence. Give me a poll. Give me something. Give me a contingent of donors and actual money folks who are determined to keep this focus as is. We want him. President Trump, you were brilliant. Why? Because he didn't clobber him. Had Trump gone in and just destroyed him, mocked him, pointed him out, encouraged the flummoxed confusion, they would have said he was much worse than he is. In many respects, one could say that Trump might have hurt Biden by allowing Biden to speak uninterrupted without any focus or what have you. I don't know. That's going to be difficult to state. This is something that we just can't put into words right now. This focus, please do not pray for, do not become excited over, do not encourage, do not hope, pray, wish, ask for a switch. Do not. This is the most critical thing. This is in August. There's a long way to go. A long way to go. We don't want this. We don't want this. Can I have an AM? Amen. Or an AM or a PM for that matter. It's something that I dread. Now, that being said, Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Oplin says, I love Kamala. I think it's her time. Okay, that would work. Now, glad you brought that up, Brad. I've got no problem with, okay, Joe, if you have to go, please bring Kamala in. I could do that. That might even be better. That might be better. Think about that. Let Joe step down. Now, next thing has to be done. What is that? We start to tell the world what we want them to do. And we start telling people a couple of things. Number one, President Trump, write this down. Number one, always think about the next race, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next what have you. President Trump has to say that this is not about a person. This is about a movement. This is about a fetid, feculent, infected, horrible movement that seeks to destroy everything that is American. And do not think that things will be better or worse or different if it's Joe Biden or if it's Gavin Newsom or if it's Kamala Harris. They are cutouts. They are proxies, sock puppets. You know the intel term for cutouts, kind of intermediaries who basically sometimes take money or information, they pass it on. You see this in internet, like Tor and these nodal systems that will connect people. They don't know who's who. They're just there at the highest level. At the highest level of this world that we live in, this at the highest level is something which is a group of people which run everything. And they don't care about the United States. They don't care about Biden. They don't care about anything. They're worried about swaths and waves and movements. They think bigger. These are the folks who were the globalists. These are the people who wanted to, who concocted the European Union, and they wanted the American Union and the African Union. These are people who actually, they care nothing. They care nothing about Joe Biden. No, it's about bigger things. But President Trump, number one, tell them right off the bat. This is my second point. Tell them what they're going to do. President Trump must tell everybody, they're now going to pretend that they've just realized that Joe Biden is maybe not at his best. They're trying to make you think that. These people work in lockstep. These people think in unison. They are told what to think. They are told how to think. They are told specifically, this is what you say. And they say it in lockstep. And you know who also says this? Fox and Newsmax, whatever's left of it. They're all on the same. They're the same. It's like people in the NFL don't care about the AFC, the NFC. They don't care about that. It's the owners. The NFL is about the owners. It's not about the teams. It's not about the game. It's not about... We were watching this incredible documentary on the DCC, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and nobody cares about that. It's about the owners. Yeah, if that draws people in, fine. If that puts them in the seats, fine. They already make their money every year anyway. They're like cable people. They make their money with carriage fees. They don't care about this. So now they're trying to tell you that they knew nothing about this. So President Trump has to say, you cannot think Trump versus Newsom versus Gretchen Whitmer versus Kamala Harris. No. Democrats are imposters. Third point. A virus is not a human being. Not a human being, a human entity. It's not a human being either, by the way. You know that, right? A virus is not a human. I keep saying that. It's not a living thing. I don't know why I'm saying this. It's not living. It doesn't live. It's not a living. You can't. It's a piece of genetic code that goes in. It goes into this thing. It permeates. It kind of like infects, so to speak, and immediately starts to change the DNA. Starts to change everything. It's like, we got it. It's like it goes in and it changes the wiring. That's what AI and AGI does with recursive self-improvement. They're going to go in, and the first thing they're going to do is cut off your ability to turn it off. They're going to change the passwords. And the first thing it does is to disconnect you from it. That's what nobody seems to understand about AI and AGI. It's not a Roomba little robot. It's something that goes in and changes information. So this virus decided years ago. Now, we've got two basic parties here. If you're in France, you got different considerations. You've got the left and you got the right if you're in wherever you are. But in the United States, the shadow government says we have one of two groups. We have Democrats and Republicans. And we want to go in and destroy it. Destroy it for a variety of reasons, which we'll talk about later on. But we're going to change everything. Now, we can go in and we can try to apply this virus to the Republicans. That's not going to work. Why? Because they're so hardcore. They thrive in conservatism. They love conservatism. They call themselves conservative. They always they love the heritage. They're nostalgic. They love Reagan. They keep talking about the flag and values and when things were better. Oh, we're not going to touch these people. No way. This is a waste of time. We're not going to go in and rewire them. You can't. They're fixed. Now, the alternative is the Democratic Party. What do they have? Well, you see, the Democratic Party for a long time was very interesting. Democratic Party for the longest time used to kind of make sense. They were anti-war. Well, there was no more war. Oh, okay. They were for women's rights. And there's women's rights. Oh, okay. They were for civil rights. Civil rights. Oh, yeah. They were for gay rights. Oh, there's gay rights. Well, what's left? The big ticket items they wanted, just not there anymore. The lefty of the 60s and the 60s, 70s, but the 60s, it's what's next? Well, so they had to create something. Climate. Not environment, climate. Not environment. Environment means water, air, purity, breathing, fish, plastics. That's environment. They don't want that. Do you remember the green peace sign? You old enough to remember that? There was a green peace sign. You know how the peace sign has this one line down the middle and then two branches? So there were three little prongs, three tines at the end. Well, the environmental green was just that middle tine was taken out. So it looks like that. And it was green. That was the environmental. Pete Seeger, Bobby Kennedy, water, air. No, terra firma, so to speak, even though the air, the atmosphere. No, climate. Fossil fuel, different story. So they said, okay, we'll go there because all of our other stuff has been satisfied. Think about it. Conservatives never satisfied. It's not conservative enough. It's not good enough. Crime's not low enough. Taxes aren't low enough. Fundamentals aren't low enough. American pride is not low enough. They're never satisfied, which is good. Prototypical American conservatives are never satisfied. It's always, we can do better. We can do better. Yeah, Reagan was great. Need another Reagan. Okay, fine. Okay, we got the taxes are lower. They can be lower. Okay. Crime lower. Okay, good. They're never satisfied. They never say, well, we got that crime thing taken care of. No. The left had loftier goals. War. Vietnam. It's over. Okay. So they were ripe for the picking. So shadow government came in, the virus, and said, we want your party. Because you're the kind of person who is very amenable to anything. You love fads and you love jargon and you love the argot and the definitional transmutability of gibberish. You love this. Let me give you an example. With these people came another group, Raul Rodriguez, as a matter of fact, who said, can the Dems heighten the climate panic? Oh, yes. That's what they do better than anybody, Raul. At least among themselves. Remember a while back, Raul, there were these people. They were saying, thank God for our friends at Libs of TikTok. She has been these incredible Twitter and I guess TikTok channels that just do this great research. But remember, there were these people who sat in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, or in the front seat of their car. And somebody, dyed their hair pink, put a big barbell nostril plug in their nose, earrings, an arrow in their neck, saucer in their lip, whatever. They took every tribal, need hair color, and then this, scarring, tattoos, shave eyebrows, add eyebrows, pink. They file teeth down, whatever they can do. And they wanted to just scare you. So they sat in front of this and they said to you things like, hello, I am, and they went through this weird transformational redefinition of their sexuality. Remember this? I'm a non-binary, I'm a quadrant bifusal, terpsichorean, crypto-gendered, sinistral paraphile, and my pronouns are, remember that West African popping. And they said, wow, that was terrific. Then somebody else said, why you do better than that? Other people came out and their face were covered in tattoos. Don't forget, tattoos were the most important social experiment in the history of mankind. Tattoos are so prevalent that there are some people who have tattoos and you can't even see them. I'll leave it at that. Okay? So they come up with pink hair, this, that, blah, 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 different and they're an elf. They consider themselves to be a squirrel. Okay. Shadow government said, those are our people. That's it. Next, we need people that we can go in and we need to experiment with them and we need them to turn on each other. Enter COVID. COVID was the greatest experiment. That thing was, you will never get to the bottom of that. Sometimes I can just create a catastrophe so easily with the most minimal of effort. Barry Taylor says Trump wins, straighten things out for 4 years. Have your thoughts about the 2028 election? Not even close, Barry. Not even, I'm not even there yet. Not even there yet. But thank you, sir. Let me give you an example of something. I'll do an experiment with you. Let's go into a bar. Okay? Everybody drunk? Yeah. Watch this. Watch how easy this is. I'm going to take this drunk and I'm going to push him into that drunk. Now let's go outside and look through the window and watch what happens. You will see a complete and total decline of disorder. You will see chaos. You will see violence. You will see hatred. You will see everything before your very eyes. You will see everything. And all you had to do is just go like that. Boop. That's it. That's the way these people work. The shadow government takes these demented lefties who have no position, no political ambition, because They basically, in the old days, pretty much got what they wanted. But they go into these side issues, and they're perfect. They wear masks, and they rat each other out. They have no affiliation. We can get them to stay home. We can get them to disengage. And the young in particular, we don't want them to drive. Do you remember, dear friends, when you got your driver's license? When I was 16 years old, 1974, I was at the license place, I think that day, or as soon as whatever day, if it was a Sunday, it was a Monday, first thing to get my license, to drive, to get into this car that I had, this 70 Chevy Impala that was a beast. I never put oil in it. I didn't know anything about oil. It didn't need oil because I had to locomote. I had to get out of my home, my parents' home. I had to go out if I wanted to go to the mall or just meet people. It was freedom. Get me out of here. And when we were 16 years old, we got a license. We would drive anything our parents, or we could get our hands on. If it was Uncle Lenny's, if it was Grandma's Studebaker with fins, we're going to drive it because we had to get out. We were a different breed. Today, they don't want to do that. You have people who stay home in their scuffies and their slides and their PJs with their therapy ferret or whatever this squirrel is that they have, popping edibles and just with anxiety. And it's a different world. The rules have changed. You see this? That's who the shadow government wants. Those people. This is calculated. These people didn't exist when we were kids. They didn't exist. It's a different world. So this left and right business doesn't even matter anymore. This isn't left or right. This is good versus, as Sarah Huckabee Sanders says, good versus crazy. And what Trump has to do is explain to people, this is not about Gavin Newsom. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may not like me. You may not care for me. You may not like the way I tweet. That's fine. But this isn't about me. I'm trying to get a course correction for this huge freighter that's going to hit that iceberg up there. And it doesn't matter who the captain is. We've got to redirect this. It's that simple. And you may not like me. That's fine. But these people are evil. And they have no belief. They are a virus. They're not living. They go in to rewire the genetic information of the country. And they may look normal to you, whether it's Joe Biden, Gavin Newsom, it doesn't matter. If you met these people, they would seem okay, but they're just following orders. They're not running the country. And if you think you know anything about them, they have this written in 5, 10, or 25-year increments. They have plots, narratives. They have a development plan. This is new. The rules have changed. This isn't 2016. This isn't Kansas, Dorothy. This is no. This is about the beginning and the end and the existence of our republic. And let me tell you something. It's not just here. Look what's happening in France. Marine Le Pen. I've loved this woman. Why? You know why? Because I hate her. She's a right wing. Ding, 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 ding. Let me hear what she has to say. Ding, 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 ding. There's this huge, Macron is just getting gassed. It's incredible. It's a movement. Remember, the wrecking ball is going to hit. And the pendulum is the wrecking ball. It's not just, hey, it's this way. No. It's a wrecking ball that's going to come in and destroy this. You cannot believe we're resetting the odometer. We're starting from the beginning. Everything. This is a chance to derail all of this. This is why this is so important. This isn't about Trump and no. This is about derailing this horror show. And that's what you've got to understand. Do not lose faith in this. Just understand what we're doing. And there's going to be a setback here, a setback. That's fine. I don't care. This is huge. I told you, I don't ever want to inadvertently blaspheme the good Christian folks or Jews or anybody for that matter. I don't want to use your faith as some kind of symbology, but let me put it to you this way. If I wrote a narrative that said that there was a deity that sent to this earth someone to make revolutionary changes, and that they tried to destroy him, and in sheer Nietzschean splendor, he came back stronger, like the phoenix. He rose. Please, I'm not, believe me, but he was revivified. They thought they crushed him. They thought they crushed him in 2020. They threw everything at him. I'm not going to say crucified, but they tortured, pilloried, put him they did everything. Lawsuits, civil, criminal, business. The only president in the history of our republic to lose money. And they went after him and after him. And he said, no, I'm not done yet. And he came back and they doubled down. They're wanting to put him in prison. They want to put him in prison. Gag orders. 2 impeachments. The emoluments clause. That's still my favorite. A judge. A corrupt system. This is Pontius Pilate. I'm sorry, Pontius Pilate. Okay, I'm serious. And just when you thought he's done, all of a sudden, from some celestial sense of judgment, they say, wait a minute. This case, this Mar-a-Lago documents case, it fell apart. The prosecutor's a crook. They forge. This is incredible. Then there's the Georgia case. Serious stuff here. Fannie Willis. Fannie. I mean that. Fannie. Prosecution, RICO. Derailed. That's 2. Oh my God. Could it be? Third case. The biggie here in New York. This ridiculous, horrible case that this thing is, nobody, it was the most uneventful. Now, the civil cases, E. Jean Carroll, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make light of it. But nobody takes that seriously. People say, she's a nut. Okay, but I know. And we're very nice. I'm so sorry for your life. When was the last time you saw a victim of horrific abuse go on Rachel Maddow, and you've got a car, and you've got a car? Remember that? This is a nutcase. It was almost like somewhere somebody said, God said, wait till you see what happens to her. Barry Taylor, a member for a month, by the way, says some schools provide litter boxes for some kids. Oh, it's getting weird, my friend. It's getting weird. But do you ever feel like this? Is it magic? Is it something? Is there This is spooky. And then all of a sudden, the guy that they send to bring Trump down, he collapses in the most epic of productions ever. George at the Lake says they removed free driver's education classes from public high schools here in California. Many cannot afford to pay to learn private classes. Let's address that, my friend. They want you home. They want you to live in your own little prison. They want to destroy traffic and traveling and locomotion. They don't like you moving away from the urban pods. Anybody wonder about those California fires? Shh. Anybody think there's anything weird about those California fires that we just stopped talking about all of a sudden? Remember that? It was the weirdest thing. And as soon as somebody said, hey, we've got these videos, what's that? I don't know. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, oh, they jumped on her. Jewish lightning. Remember that? This Ross, she said, there's one thing I like about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's not perfect, but she just says that, whatever. It's a badge of courage. It's a badge of courage. She could, we wear them like this is it. This is my conspiracy theorist. This is my anti-Semitic. This is my crazy. This is my, I mean, we wear these things as, thank you very much. We all have those. And in terms of having fruit salad or medals, Alex Jones, number one. I mean, this guy's been just, I mean, that's another one. He's still there. And he's always going to be there. And Elon's going to back him. Going to watch what happens. Watch what happens. It's almost as though something from the heavens is saying, keep going. Don't give up. Watch. Don't let little moments of, like one of you fine people said, my sister-in-law, don't worry about yourself. You can't get everybody. You can't get everybody. No. Keep going. This is about them for everything. This is about everything. Trump has to explain, to tell people, they're after your children. They're after your children. I don't think people have recognized this enough. I don't think, and I'm very surprised by this, because if there's one thing that's going to get people's attention, it's this. I mentioned to you my beloved Mrs. L. This is her YouTube channel, and Lynn's Warriors, and her Twitter account, Lynn's Warriors. And I want you to follow her and follow the cause. There are people who are dedicated to destroying the future of our country through our children. I know that sounds trite. They mean nothing. Even when they bring in these horrible, horrible people from countries and cultures, I'm going to say it, cultures from jungles and villages and environments who look at women as nothing. Your woman, your child, your wife, your daughter, mine for the taking. That's mine. And we let them in. I'm going to tell you something right now. You're not going to believe, or maybe you will believe this. Dear friend of mine's in the restaurant business, and he says, you will never know. You will never know. You will never understand. You will never grasp how depraved society is unless and until you work in a kitchen of a restaurant. Specifically, something that is a very popular restaurant. Something that's very shishi. Something that's... And he said, the thing that you would be surprised about is that everybody will talk. They will talk in the open in the kitchen. And he has seen things that you cannot believe in terms of what goes on in kitchens. You cannot believe the level of depravity of people in the business. Do you remember years ago, Abramovich, spirit cooking, weird satanic references? Cat Williams is correct. You want to call it satanic? You want to call it demons? I don't know. Evil. Evil. And he told me that he would sometimes get commission. This is on the topic. Please don't think I'm getting away from the topic, but I want you to understand who our enemy is. It's Biden, but it's people behind them. Because remember, as Breitbart said before they whacked them, remember, politics is downstream from culture, from entertainment. Politics is just a branch of that. I think it was Zappa who said something. Zappa, he's another one too, his father. But music and entertainment is like it's the entertainment portion of an overarching superstructure. In any event, so my friend told me, he said that when people would come in, he would get these private deals at various among exceedingly rich people. Rich doesn't even, it's beyond anything. Put it this way. These people could bury anything in Silicon Valley. And let me remind you of something. You know who is the richest family on the planet? Not the Saudis, the royal family. Don't let those Windsors fool you for a moment. They love to make you think, oh, look at that. They're going through the problem. Gee, look, they went to see Taylor Swift. Oh, no, you have no idea. They are part of, they make the Vatican look like, a Dollar Tree. They're another story, but I digress. So anyway, so he would get this deal and they would say, show up at this dock. And he's ferried out on some dinghy to this yacht. He had to bring all his knives, all his stuff, and all had to be accounted for. What are you bringing on to our boat to do the cooking? This was serious. Security and all of these people, ex-CIA, MI6, Mossad, whatever you want to call it, IDF, all of this thing was wired for sound. And he looked around and he said, I know what this is. It had nothing to do with this. This was a sound stage because these people were compromised. And what this thing is there's these groups of people. Have you ever heard of a term called yachting? Have you ever heard this? Yachting. I've told you about this before. But in our circles, yachting means something different. In yachting, sometimes they'll say, here's a yacht. You ever get like Spotify? Here's a yacht mix. Yacht rock. 70s. Air supply and all that stuff. Okay. Yachting is a different story. Yachting is and I can't tell you, I'm not going to say the names, but you would recognize them. Where you really want to make money, remember what's been going on. Remember what I told you. Human trafficking and extortion and prostitution to an extent. Okay. Let's say I'm a person who is of note. I'm from a different country. I might be oil this. Doesn't matter who I am. I'm going to take my yacht and we're going to go out into international waters. That old story. And I'm going to invite on my yacht big stars to hang out with us. I'll pay them $1 million, depending upon who they are. If I gave you the list of the names of the ones who are most known for this, you would know. And this is an industry that's been going on forever. So I invite actress, boom, or maybe actor, but actress, whatever. She shows up, hangs out. I'm going to pay. She knows exactly what she's there to do. Makes a cool $1 million, goes out, and basically services whoever is there. Or they hook up or whatever you want to call it. In rooms that are wired for sound. Remember, everything is wired. Human trafficking, extortion. This goes on all the time. The number of people right now, and This is the weirdest ones, the ones who actually recruit their daughters. As we speak, you'll know the names. I'm not just making this up. This is a level of depravity you can't imagine. You don't. I'm not saying this because you're an imbecile. I'm not saying that. It's just not something that we're used to. Hollywood, since the beginning of time, I could tell you a couple of folks, and this is before Judy Garland, and goes back to Clara Bow. I can tell you stories about Clark Gable and Jean Harlow you'll freak you out. Bob Hope, Cary Grant, and Warren Beatty, and Jack Nicholson in the 60s. And they've always been Hollywood at the beck and call of power structures. Now, during the 50s, during the Cold War, conservatives owned. Remember who Hollywood was when it was a system. You had Jack Warner, you had Louis B. Mayer, you had a lot of Eastern European Jews who loved this country, victims of the pogrom, victims of anti-Semitism, who came to this country. Frank Capra, Italian, whatever, some of the best propagandists you've ever seen. And they were always connected. Well, now it's a different story. Now the conservatives, the flag wavers, they're gone. Brad Pitt, don't kid yourself. Brad Pitt's not a part of this. Not like Clooney. Clooney sold his soul. Watch what they're doing with Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's a genius. He's a genius. You falling for this? Anybody falling for this? Do you see Piers Morgan? Schmuck. This is when let me explain something. When you go to Hollywood today, if you think I don't care if you're Spielberg, I don't care if you're Woody Allen, it's another one. How's he still walking around? And they're giving Roman Polanski must have really pissed somebody off. I cannot believe. Why Roman Polanski? We'll never know. Why Alec Baldwin? Why is Alec Baldwin? Ask yourself this question. And please, I'm sorry. I know I went from Trump to this, but it's all connected. You've got to understand this theater of corruption here. Alec Baldwin, it's like, look, it was an accident on a set. Happens all the time. Remember John Landis? Remember that Twilight Zone remake with Vic Morrow and those two poor kids decapitated? Yeah. They had to do something, but Landis was, they like Landis. He was okay. They don't like Alec Baldwin. If Ron Howard had been in that situation, if Martin Scorsese had been in that situation, if they had been a part of this, they would have come to their side, but they don't like Alec Baldwin anymore. They got rid of him. This is weird. This is to show people, better play ball with us, because there is no more Hollywood. Did you see how, and here's the best part. Here's the good news. You ready for this? They're so disconnected. The other night they had a party. You saw this. George Clooney, Julia Roberts. Who else was there? The other one. Michelle Obama wasn't there. And Barack Obama, they own him. Don't believe for a moment. Barack Obama calling the shots, they own him. He's not calling any shots. Do you think there's anybody calling the shots? He's not. It's the big donors, but above the big donors. Remember one of Uncle Lenny's rules. If you know the name of somebody, they're not in charge. If you know the name Soros, he's not in charge. If you know a name, he's not in charge. But they had this thing in Washington, in D.C. rather, L.A. Clooney, Jimmy Kimmel, and they have no idea. There was nobody there. When we had this thing the other night, by the way, or a while back at Radio City, there was no coverage. There was nobody there. Okay, enough of that. New topic. Pay attention to this one. Remember, the rules have changed. I'm hearing, and my sources tell me, we've got the Republican convention, what, July, right? 15th or something like that in Milwaukee. There's no reaction. I'm hearing, people are telling me that there's not this onslaught of hotels and theaters. And why is that? The rules have changed. It's going to be remote now. There's no such thing as a convention. The convention thing of the old days. You're basically going to be paying attention to that. Mr. Speaker, not Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, the great state of Nevada, who brought you, blah, 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 to cast our whatever votes for. Stop it. It's over. It's over. Now, I'm not done yet. I got one more thing to tell you. What President Trump has to do is to tell people what they're going to do so that you'll say, they did it. And that leaves them with one of two choices. Either they go through with the endeavor, either they go through it and prove him right, or, for example, President Trump is going to have to say, and let me just say this again, he was brilliant in not clobbering Biden the other day, because you don't want to hurt him. You're going to walk him to that finish line. We're going to walk him there in any event. So what they did was, he needs to stand up and say, now listen, what they're going to do is this. For the longest time, many of us have been trying to figure out, why are there all these people there from different countries? What's the purpose? It's not to help anything. We know this. They know this. Democrats will believe anything. Democrats, the reason why the shadow government picked Democrats to perpetuate this nonsense is that they're so gullible. They wear pink hair, or they'll file their teeth down to points and think they're a tiger and come up with pronouns. They'll believe anything. Black Lives Matter. They put the sign. Remember when people put the sign in their front lawn? Translation. Don't hurt my house. In case there's a riot, I'm with you. Oh yeah. Remember that one? Remember all your friends? Black Lives Matter. Oh yeah. It's like the old days that would have they would put blood on your anyway. Forgive me. I got caught up in my own reverie. Trump needs to tell people they're going to have these people all of a sudden show up to vote. And the way the scam's going to be done is not stolen ballots or destroyed ballots. They're going to have people come and they're going to say, no. We've got people from all over the country. We've got Pedro Gonzalez and Rodriguez and Fernandez, and they're all over there, and Garcia's, and they're all legit. Oh no, you can count them. Because when they came in, we made sure we took their biometrics. We told them specifically, you're going to do what we say. You're happy to be here, right? Yeah. Thank Joe Biden for that. And when we tell you to vote Democrat, you're going to vote Democrat, right? Oh, absolutely. Good. And if we take you and your family, move you to Duluth or Akron to build out the demographics or the population for census purposes and for congressional district, you're going to do that, right? Oh, absolutely. Because you don't know the level of poverty. Back to my friend who was in the restaurant business. He said, you have never seen poverty like these people. You have never seen poverty like this. There were people who came to him, people, because he knew dishwashers, because they always, when you come to this country, at least in the old days, you always knew restaurants, off the books, and it's a horrible job. There are people who slept on cardboard, families. It's incredible. There are parts of Flushing, Queens, where my friend used to live, where he could tell how many, especially Chinese, lived in one house because of all the shoes outside. You saw it looked like a shoe truck drop. There's like 20 people in there because they were so desirous to make a new life. And he told me the level of poverty was so great because they're here not just to seek their fortune, but to send money back. They would sell members of their family like it was nothing. So this is a world nobody wants to deal with, nobody wants to talk to. These Democrats want to sit in their front seat of their car and yell and scream, like the woman who yelled no. You know, it's funny you said that. Minneapolis is new Somali. Brian, I can't believe you said this. One of my dearest friends in the world lives in Minneapolis. He told me exactly the same thing. He said he has never seen anything. It's not that it's necessarily bad, but he is overwhelmed with this. Let me leave you with this, my friends, because you've been so kind to spend your days with me, and I appreciate this. Listen to what I'm saying. This is not about Donald Trump. As much as I'd like to say that it's not. It's not about him, and it's not about, it's about the future of our republic, our constitutional republic, not our democracy. This is about the future of the world starting here. You got to watch what's going on in Europe, watch what's going on in France, watch how the supposed right is taking over. Watch what they're doing. Make sure you follow Mrs. L immediately. This is her site. This is her link right now. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Just click that and go and subscribe. You can't believe what's happening to your children. The legislation that's being passed. She talks to border agents. She talks to teachers. She talks to educators. She talks to people in the digital safety world. Because remember, when we go after your kids, if I'm a predator, I go through your phone. I'm not in a white van outside. I'm after their phone. I'm after their iPads. I'm after their tablets. I'm after their games. That's what I want. It's done all the time. And there's a way for you to protect yourself. This is a multi-area war that we're in. That's all I want to tell you. And let me see. Brian Hayes, I can't believe, my friend, you said that. Georgia at the lake. Barry Taylor, thank you. Raul. Brad Oplin, Lori Lewis, thank you so much. And remember something which is important. I think this adds to my bona fides. Okay? This is not about Donald Trump. This is not about, he is the vehicle, the vector, the antidote, the chemotherapy, whatever you want to call it. He may not be perfect. He may be, I don't even know what that means. Thank God for him. I think sometimes we overlook. He never loses his power. I know people, if they don't, if somebody's Uber is late, they go into a 6-week depression and eat, edibles, and they don't come out because they have anxiety. This guy, he has the energy of I don't know who, a marathoner, and nothing destroys his spirit. He loves it. They throw it on him. He becomes resistant. He's like this antibiotic resistant TB or something. It just, thank God. I don't want to, somebody mentioned 2028. I don't even want to think about this because I don't know who's going to replace if anybody can. But for the time being, he's it. And I hope you do another thing too. Keep up your positive energy. Follow me. Subscribe to Lionel Nation. Again, I always tell you this, that there are people who say, hey, I was unsubscribed. Tell your friends. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say something just to make you feel good. And if you feel good by what I'm saying, it's true. There's a lot to be happy about. But you've got to be cautious. You got to know what's happening. These people are vicious. They're there to play. They are a serious. This is not about Joe Biden, not about Gavin Newsom. It's about a more powerful adversary. The people behind those people. The shadow government focus. That's the one to watch out for. So you make sure you maintain your focus. Be happy. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you talk to all of your friends. And when you meet somebody who gives you a line, you're not going to change their mind. Act as though, and listen to me carefully, Have you ever spent any time in a mental hospital? Not as a patient, maybe you have, but just as a visitor, or if you've dealt with a client and how you learn to talk to them? Well, when you talk to somebody who is psychologically impaired, you never get into their delusion. When somebody says, "I'm voting for Biden," what do you say to your sister-in-law Maxine? What are you going to say? You're going to argue with them? Do what I do whenever I've had to deal with some idiot program director or some news director or some idiot who knows nothing about anything. I always say, interesting. It's non-committal. Doesn't mean I agree with it. It's like, interesting. Or, I see. And that's it. Don't get a right. It'll drive them nuts. Don't ask any questions. Well, why would you want Joe Biden? Well, didn't you see his performance? I think it's interesting. Well, I'm voting for Biden. I understand. And act like you just don't care. Like they're like they're lost. Like they're beyond hope, because they are. Those aren't people you're going to talk to. I want to talk to somebody who's in the middle, somebody who's not sure, somebody an undecided, somebody who's an independent. And remember this, my friends, what is our slogan? What is our slogan? What is the slogan? What is the one thing that you say? Not make America great again. No. What is our slogan? What is it? What is it, my friend? What is it? What do you tell people? What do you tell people? Thank you, Nick Nightingale. You, Lizzie Solak, always keep these likes up. These likes, when you like what we're doing, believe it or not, you have no idea what it does for. It puts us into a new algorithm so that when somebody is out, on YouTube or Twitter or something, they say, "Oh, I'm going to try this guy out." Hey, what is our slogan? Very simple. Slogan, hit the like button. I like that. Is very simply this. Jerry, Maxine, and Edna, I have one question. Look at me carefully. Do you want 4 more years of this? And then you can pick whatever scatological reference you want. Do you want 4 more years of this? That's it. If you do, you know what to do. But if you don't, you know what to do also. That's it. Ask yourself 4 more years of this. And not 4 more years of the same, but accelerated, a progressive a metastasis of this societal and political cancer. All right, my friend, thank you. Have a great and a glorious day. One more time, Mrs. L, Lynn's Warriors. Follow her. Trust me, it means so much to me. We love you. We love you. You are our family. Remember that no matter what happens, no matter what, we have made some of the best friends. And it's so invigorating to know that there are like-minded people who don't have horns and, who just want common sense, law and order, return to what it was, but to make things better, not just to be regressive or retrospective. But in any event, have a great and a glorious day, my friends. See you tonight. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Oh, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed. You got to be subscribed. Where was I? Oh, yes. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.